How are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted, but I'm sure you guys are too. Busy, just staying busy. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you guys?
What was your last project? It was the A3F Film Festival project, right?
Yeah. So the A3F was the one that we just wrapped officially, and then I'm currently on one that we've been shooting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we wrapped today, but
Oh.
yeah. So it's a good one. It's
What?
murder mystery.
Ooh.
Detective, serial killer, horror type vibe.
I
So
was supposed to be there on Sunday because you're gonna kill like 21 people or something.
yes,
I was
yeah.
gonna be one of those.
Oh no way.
Yeah, but I backed out because I didn't want to be covered in blood.
Yeah, yeah. It was
on me.
it was like I wasn't there for like the photography day, but
Yeah.
I saw, obviously I've seen like the evidence or whatever, and it was
bloody.
pretty bloody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
People
gnarly.
don't understand the mess that blood actually makes.
Yeah.
And how it
Was it
stains
you?
your skin
I
and
think it
stuff.
was you that told me I was gonna stain my skin.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I couldn't. I had something the next day that I could not
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
red like all over my face.
It took me like
Yeah.
a solid week to get it off my skin. I had to
Mhm.
throw away my clothes,
Oh my God.
like whatever it touched. Like, I volunteered because I've always been like, you know what? I'm going into this role. I'm going all in.
Down for
Fuck,
whatever.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go for everything.
Yeah.
And then there was one that I was just an extra. I wasn't even like playing like a principal role or anything. And it was
Yeah.
just like a little tiny thing. And like, we need one person to just be covered in blood. I'm like,
Wait, was that the set that we were on? Was that the like Rosemary's Baby?
yes.
Yes. How funny. Yes.
Because that was the one that, because that was the one I just got covered in blood.
Yeah, yeah. They're like stabbing you or something
Yeah.
and blood shooting everywhere.
Like, it wasn't even
That's
just like a
so
little bit here.
funny.
Like, they're like, okay, when we stab you, we just have to squirt you
Yeah.
all over. And like,
Yeah.
I was choking on it because
Yes.
it was getting in my mouth
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
And I was just like they were like, because I was supposed to like coughing because I'm getting stabbed in the throat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like coughing, but inhaling fake blood at the
Oh my
same time.
gosh.
And then
Yeah,
I get
it
up
just
and I'm
all
just
it all
like-
came back to me as soon as you were like saying that. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I had,
That's now I remember you with all the blood on you. Yeah, I was like,
which honestly, like, I'm glad they had like at least like edible blood.
yeah, right. Yeah,
It was like
flavored,
mint flavored,
or
which
something.
I was that like tricked my
Right.
brain. So like,
Isn't
I
that kinda
didn't
weird.
mint flavored blood.
I did do why?
Like, when I see red, I think like
Why?
at
What
least
would you
make it,
rather
like, cherry
have?
or something. At least make it like cherry
Yeah,
strawberry.
strawberry.
Ew, that's gross.
I'd rather that than like mint.
Yeah,
I guess.
mint throws me off a little bit. I feel like
Yeah.
that doesn't seem quite
But yeah, I had
natural.
to talk you out of it a little bit.
You
I'm like,
did.
if you, unless like you're okay with being absolutely drenched in blood that's gonna stain your skin for a fat minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just the staining my skin for a few, like,
Right.
because I had shoots. Like, I can't just, like, if it's all over my face.
Yeah,
I can't,
right,
I
right.
can't talk to clients like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, I was just in a murder scene.
What's wrong with you? Yeah, yeah.
I
that's
think I
hilarious.
had, because I was filming over a weekend, and I think I was still working my corporate job at that time. And so
Yeah.
the next day, I was going to work. My coworker's like, "The fuck is going on with your skin, bro?"
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
"I'm an actor. I
Yeah.
had to play a scene." And like, my boss at that time, I think they actually got mad at me because they're like, "You can't be like coming to work unprofessional." I'm like, "What am I supposed to do?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Like, this is as professional as I can be.
yeah,
It's on
this
my
is
skin.
not.
like-
I didn't know that it was
Yeah.
gonna stain my skin. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It was a random role that I was picked for. I
Yeah.
didn't come in with like, "Hey, by the way, you're just gonna be absolutely drenched in blood," which makes me think like the movie Carrie, where she's
Mm.
just like, you guys have seen
Yeah,
Carrie, right?
yeah.
You
I haven't seen like most movies you'll ever talk about.
I know I'm the same way. People are like,
Yeah.
you're a filmmaker. How have you not seen the classics? And it's like, dude,
That's-
I don't know. I don't
yeah.
have time for that.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like-
Exactly. I make movies, I don't watch them.
yeah.
I mean, I'm a movie buff now,
Yeah.
but I try to watch more modern stuff to keep up with technology, keep up with the times, and I don't know. There's like a weird thing about classic movies that just doesn't hit the button for me.
No, well, and it's just funny because like I'll meet with like directors or whatever that try to reference like like the movie this, and it's like, no, I don't. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what about this movie? Yeah, still no.
same. Me too.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
cool.
Then
Yeah.
they expect me to go watch it. I'm not gonna watch it. Just
Yeah.
tell me a scene that I'll look up
Yeah,
on YouTube.
yeah.
you
Just
know?
send me the shot deck. I'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Well, my list for movies is so extensive now to watch that I'm like, I can't sit there and watch something that I can literally see the green screen rolling behind them because
Yeah,
of how
yeah,
old it is,
yeah.
or like the driving scene of like how they used to do it, and like
It's the camera operating for me because
Yeah.
back in the day, like we didn't realize that we can move around the room or move the camera at all.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
like I just can't because like my dream is to be a camera operator, and if they're not moving the camera,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
It's
what
like,
am I watching?
what
right
am
now?
what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
in those days, there was no experimentation with camera stuff
Yeah.
either, so there
It's
couldn't
cool to see
be.
the progression.
for
Yeah.
sure, for
But-
sure.
I remember when me and you were first starting to talk about it, we are like, imagine the first guy ever to do a dolly zoom. Like
Right.
the,
Oh
the,
yeah, yeah.
The
Like the
editor's like, what the
Hitchcock,
fuck is
you
going
know?
on?
Yeah, for sure.
How cool would that be to be that person to
Uh-huh.
figure
Yeah,
that out? you know?
uh-huh.
me Fred over here, he's the one that invented this one move that is being used every single day in the best things ever.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
it's sad that we don't even know who actually invented it. I don't.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Now I
Yeah.
need to find out.
yeah, trivia or yeah, playing Jeopardy or something.
So what's your? I know you're a DP camera operator.
Yeah.
I've known you for a little bit, not for an entirely super long time.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know how long you guys have known each other. Apparently,
think
you
it's
guys knew
like a
each other.
year.
Like a year and a half,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
now.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was my gaffer. Honestly, you're like my favorite gaffer ever.
Stop it! You say
No,
that.
just, like, we had so much fun. It
Yeah.
was on Slash,
Uh-huh.
and we just got to play with color, which nobody ever lets me play with color ever.
Yeah.
And we just went ham.
Like
Yeah,
post-production
yeah.
color stuff.
No, like
Just, like,
in-
Tube
in the
lights
frame.
galore,
Yeah.
RGB lights
Oh.
yeah,
galore.
RGB
Yeah.
everywhere. Like every room was different. We had like slats of light coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was that. So that was my first set. Like I've been on a couple sets, but like literally a year and a half ago was like, okay, I got into filmmaking for a reason to not do the corporate stuff. Like
Right.
even like that's what I was doing for like 10 years. Was social media content creation, and I was like, I want to make movies. So I literally joined Arizona Filmmakers Facebook group, and I think it was Honor or Megan. Somebody posted that they were looking for XYZ crew members, and I was like, what the heck? Let's just go for it. And so that was like my first gateway
No way.
into the filmmaker community.
How
my
long ago
God,
was that?
How fun is that?
Year and a half ago, like
Yeah.
literally
Year and a
like
half.
probably I think they filmed in July or August. Last
23.
23. Yeah.
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 And so your experience before that was this corporate stuff then.
Yeah, and very like running gun solo. I would shoot, edit, light, do the audio.
Really?
Like yeah, so I was very much an independent filmmaker. So that was like, and again, I've done like film challenges, and I went to school for it. So like I've had a couple like touches here and there with doing short films, but those short films like crew of 4 people, where
Yeah.
I'm like I have a director, I do all camera, and then we have a sound guy. You know, like that.
Right.
That's like our crew. So that was like the first time like kind of
Having a
being
team.
exposed to like I am only in charge of the lighting. Like that was kind of weird for me. So it was a lot of fun though.
Really?
That makes sense of like why you just kept going and going and going. Like if we were waiting for any of the actors, he was just like, I'm gonna add another light.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add another light. Like I literally was like, it's okay.
yeah.
But
It's
it was
not
great.
perfect.
No,
Yeah.
I loved it.
And I was like pulling out like all the YouTube things that I saw that I thought were cool. Like I put a trash bag on the ceiling thinking that like, oh, I would like isolate the light, and then it like looked like shit. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying,
No,
but
it was so fun though, because like I never got to play with it either. So I was like, Casey, go. Like,
Yeah.
let's go.
yeah.
I love the Jimmy rig stuff, especially
Yeah.
like when it's like we're gonna do this. It's supposed to act as this, but we don't actually have that tool, so we just have to makeshift something
right.
to
Right.
make it look like.
Yeah.
And I never like, especially being in front of the camera, I don't know any of those tricks. I'm like, I don't know how they did all that, and it wasn't until I actually started working with like DPs and cinematographers and stuff that how much went into a lot of those lighting things.
Right. Yeah. Well, and again, I was so like fresh and green. Like I didn't have like the gear that I have now. So even like trying to just like, it's like, okay, I'm going to lean this tube up against this wall and tuck this
Yeah.
one behind the TV. Like, I just didn't really know all the little tricks of the trade and like what you need to be prepared for. I was just
Right.
kind of figuring it out. So, but I think it turned out great. Like we
Yeah.
got to see the final product, and it was a lot of fun. So,
It was fun.
and I've just been going hard ever since, just saying yes to everything. So
You literally have been.
yeah, yeah,
How is the transition from like corporate world to having teams?
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to go back. Like I was like, I don't want to edit anymore. Like I like having like a team. Yeah, it just makes things. I think it's just more fun.
Yeah.
It makes it so much more fun to like collab and like
such a restriction of creativity.
yeah,
Like I've done both corporate stuff
yeah,
and regular film stuff, and the restriction, like I was
That's a
working
good
with
point.
another buddy of mine that they were just a random company that we were working with, but we wanted to incorporate a lot of more creative stuff into their social media
Mhm,
videos.
mhm.
every single idea that we had was turned down. Like
Oh,
he had like an
dang.
assistant that was like, no, it's not enough like this. I'll make it like this. And it's like, okay, so you want it to look like every other corporate
Right.
video that's ever been made,
Right.
and you expect that to go viral on social media.
Yeah.
That definitely makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So it's
right,
like,
yeah.
I feel like film is where you're finally able to be like, what if we just like fuck around and try this angle or try
Yeah.
this lens? Like I know
Yeah.
traditionally it's like this, but what if just like for shits and giggles, we have a little extra time today.
Mm-hmm.
What if we
Yeah.
just try to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have directors that let you do it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's some directors, like, I've gotten in fights with them being like, this is going to be cooler. Just let me do it. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It'll
And then
take
they
5
love it.
minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
They usually love it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Something I do all the time is, like, ask them to, like, stop talking. You know? Like the actors. Like, hey, we got it with lines. Can we get it without them talking?
Hmm.
Oh,
That's
That's
favorite.
interesting.
That's my favorite thing ever is because, like,
Wait, what do you mean?
without dialogue. Like, act out everything that you just said without saying it.
Yeah.
Oh, so just like blocking?
Or just like
No,
the
just-
reactions.
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's
just
just
want to
it's
see like
yeah.
the emotion
Oh.
of what you would say.
I've never had a director do anything like that with me.
Well, I'm the one that tells the director to let it happen.
Yeah.
Because they don't really realize most of the time because they wrote it too,
Yeah.
and they're
Mhm.
so like ingrained in like this is what I wrote, this is what I want to see, and I'm like, it's gonna be so much better if you just don't say these couple of lines,
Mm.
and it's always the best.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, well, it gives you options too. Like if you do want to cut things or you do need to like make room, but I could see it totally working for, like yeah, if we're just gonna get your coverage and we want the emotional beats and the reactions, without having to worry about making your line or just being on
Yeah.
cue or whatever, just like feel it out. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. It's
Yeah,
an interesting
that's really fun to
strategy.
try.
Yeah, I will try that. I'll
Well, I
pull that
feel
one
like-
out.
Bouncing off of that, a big thing that people don't underestimate is those silent moments that
Mhm.
really emphasize like that was one of the big things I even noticed about like I don't know what all I'm allowed to say, but like the new Captain America that came out.
Mm,
We've been talking about that.
like boycotting
I only
Marvel.
Don't
Yeah,
watch
I
it.
haven't
It's
seen it.
awful.
I only talk about that so much because of the budget that they had and what they produced.
Awful.
And it
Yeah.
looks rushed. It looks like there's supposed to be those moments where the actor is supposed to sit in his emotion and like as an actor, we're
Mm.
trained in class. Like anyone who's gone through an acting class is trained to understand that like when you're going through a scene, it's not over until the director or someone says cut. Stay in your moment.
And
because-
even then,
Yeah,
like
no, a
stay
couple
in
seconds
it.
after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
like even if I get done delivering my line to you or whatever, if it's like a dramatic scene, like any of the actors like, okay, I'm done. It's like, no, no,
Right,
no, no, no.
right.
Stay in that.
Yeah.
Look him in the eye, feel it,
Yeah.
really kind of get that emotion because we don't know what's gonna happen in post. Maybe there's going to be a zoom cut to where like they're zooming in slowly or something, and having those extra little silent moments, it does so much more to build a film.
Yeah. Well, like even like as like a DP, and I'm sure like you kind of do this, is like sometimes like when they yell cut, it's like I will still like I'm not just like okay done, like I'll like hold it and then cut. You know what I mean? Like it's like just give me like 2 extra seconds could
Yeah.
really be useful. So
Because it's even when they hear cut and then they relax, that's the moment that would work.
yeah, right. Yeah, kind of interesting. So
It's cool to kind of see when those kinds of things come into play because you don't think about a lot of that. Like amateur filmmakers will like, okay, cut, boom, next thing, and it's like we don't know what's gonna happen in post when we're editing it. Like I really wish we would have just stayed here for a millisecond longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
yeah,
That one extra second, if we would have just let him be like that, or like, oh man, there was a tear that was about to fall, but it didn't quite fall just yet. If we would have stayed there to catch that tear falling,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
would have built everything so much higher.
yeah. I'm definitely like a coverage snob. Like I love just shooting the whole scene.
Yeah.
Through one angle, like all the way through. Some people have different processes, and some are like, we only need it for this line, is like this close up or whatever,
Right.
which on the day might like save you time if you only need to get certain points. But I'm a big fan of like, let's just shoot the whole scene from this angle,
Yeah.
or like, you know, we're gonna do the wide, the medium, the close, and run through the whole thing, and just whatever we get, we get.
It's just
Look, it's under the table. Okay, we're okay. We're okay.
That's not him, he was talking.
I know, I had to point it out. There was just, I see a
I'm
drip.
hungry.
We're starving artists over here. Help us. Yeah.
So there's one big thing that I've seen with you guys that you guys are like the only two that I know of that have done it, which is go to film school. Which you went to NAU film school, right? Okay.
cool.
Where did you go?
ASU.
ASU film school.
Years
Okay.
ago when it was not good at all. Like, same. Yeah. It's like I had friends that were in like filmmakers or whatever that I met through like clubs and stuff like that. And they were going to Scottsdale Community College at the time. And they had like a way better film program than ASU. So I feel like I got not gypped, but like I learned way more on the job and going into like, you know, getting a full-time, which my first like full-time job creatively was like working for my church. So I would like edit and shoot, and that's how I learned a lot of my stuff. But like film school was all theory and watch movies and do the discussion boards, which I hated.
What do
like
you think about this movie that was 100 years old?
Yeah. And now reply to more like, you know, you'd post and you have to reply, and it's like
that's exactly how NAU was.
Literally. Yeah.
It was stupid.
Yeah, I think I had like 2 classes. One was a screenwriting class that actually taught you how to like format a screenplay, and then the other one, like our midterm and final, was like creating a short film. And those were the 2 that like I really felt like I benefited from. So
I've done a handful of like student films, and has been some times where I go in and I can kind of see like what they're working on. Like I did one that we were in his actual classroom, and his teacher was there playing a character and stuff. And as I was in there, though, I was like, I'm sorry, but this is the most bullshit thing I have ever seen. Like, I've worked with professionals. Well, I didn't. No, I didn't.
You're just sitting in class, just like in the back corner.
I was like, this is definitely one of those things that I don't know how detrimental it is to go to school for something like it.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time to not. I taught a class at NAU, which I mean I always wanted to go back to NAU and like, do something, and I was like, don't tell them to quit. Don't tell them to quit. Don't tell them to quit. And like, wow, it was a 4-hour-long class. I had to.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
This. And at one point, I did kind of say it. I was like, you guys will learn so much more on set than you ever will here.
Oh yeah.
And I was like.
Damn it! The one thing I just couldn't. You just kept thinking about it, and then it was like, it's just gonna come out. But
true.
It is true.
Well, I feel like unless it's a class taught by one of the greatest, like Scorsese or Tim Burton comes to the class to teach on the process of claymation or anything like that,
they still don't have enough time to teach you that, you know?
Yeah.
I think like the resources, because there's like some like schools in New York or like LA, like Full Sail or whatever, where it's like, okay, that will get you in, like that is a direct career path of like going to school and then you get on huge film sets or TV shows or whatever. But like NAU, ASU, it's like, now what do I do? You know what I mean? Like there's not enough like resources, and you don't learn a lot, you know, and then it's kind of just, you're on your own.
That's kind of where I started doing all those classes, because I can at least like have like an interchange between their school and then the professional world, just so they can know that there's people out there that they can learn from.
Yeah, but I tell people, it's like, I don't regret going to school, because like I think I made some really good connections,
right?
But I didn't. But like, it's learning wise. Yeah, it's like hard because you're paying the tuition when it's like. But I think nowadays with like social media and stuff, like, you know, how I got onto Slash, it's just join a Facebook group, meet people in the community. Like, you don't have to. And I think there's a lot more like of the creative side of stuff where YouTube University will solve a lot of your.
That's how I learned everything.
They have like the master class that I haven't actually looked into it, but they have like master class or something that has the actual big people they're teaching like a little course, or like just buying courses. I'm like, yeah, you might spend a little bit of money buying those courses.
It's not 60 grand.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Either do that, or spend $100,000 going to school for 4 years, learning from a guy who's never actually been on a giant
Look at their
set.
IMDb. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
But then I'm like also taking like chemistry and like, it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I just want to
teach you the Pythagorean theorem while you're going to school to be the next.
Your psychology class and your math class.
That's
it's like,
so true.
You know, sure, it's important, but like it's not helping me in like where I'm trying to go.
Yeah,
you know?
so true.
With film school, I feel like it also depends on what you're aiming to do. If you're looking to be a director or something, then that's a whole, like, I feel like it's good if you're just looking to figure out, like, if you don't even know what path you want to take, to be on set, like if you need to learn, like, okay, what are the positions? What is the PA? What is the DP? What is an AC? What are all these positions and stuff? And trying to learn, because like when I was first getting into production myself, I joined a photography class at my high school, but I went in with the intention of, I don't need to learn how to take photos. I need to learn what the lighting is and the functions of a camera. A painter can learn how to hold a paintbrush, what kind of strokes to use, what kind of paint's going to be good, but nobody can show him what the proper painting to paint is. And so when I was going in, I was like, okay, I just want to learn, like, okay, what is the exposure triangle? What does it mean to, what is the rule of thirds? What are all these things that are like the basics to go into it, and then I'll develop from there. So when I think of film school, that, like, I've never done film school, but I feel like it's one of those things that, like, it teaches you a little bit, maybe.
They didn't teach me anything.
No?
I didn't know what a C stand was.
Didn't teach
I
you
didn't
that.
know what an AC was. I didn't know what a PA was. I didn't know anything.
Really?
I knew nothing about anything about film.
This is after film school.
After film school, I got on my first set as an intern. I didn't know walkie etiquette. I didn't know where to stand. I didn't know what my position even was.
Roles and responsibilities. Nothing.
Really?
No idea.
So that's embarrassing, because it's like, okay,
so embarrassing.
when you're on the thing, it's like, oh, I have a 4-year bachelor's degree in film, and then these people are like, okay, get this, and you're like, yeah, what?
I
could do a storyboard.
No, so I literally have a story of the script supervisor asked me for an apple. Okay?
An apple?
I got her an apple.
Like the fruit, right?
Yeah. That's not what she wanted. That's not what she wanted.
Yeah.
That
was it, like an apple box?
That's what she wanted. It was an apple box. And like, I didn't know what it was. So I was like, what's an apple box? That's how bad it was.
And I think like the more you get on it, like stuff just becomes more like quarter apple. Okay, but what does that mean? A pancake. It's like you have all these these like little terminology things that go way over people's heads.
On my first day, if someone asked for a pancake, I would have gone to a freaking restaurant and bought a pancake.
I don't know why they wanted this, but I got it. Be proud of me.
They only had chocolate chip or blueberries. So I got
you didn't
both.
specify.
They would still be impressed by that though. Like that I went and got a pancake for them. They'd be like, all right.
You're chill.
That's
that wasn't what we were talking.
A little pat on the head. I
don't even know what half these terms are either. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, that's why you have
just over here bonding.
You guys got it. See, I got to bond with the last one a little bit more because she was an actor. We got someone that
I wanted to talk to you.
That's awesome.
I know. I know that when we were first doing Spark, we were trying to find like different DPs and stuff. But even before that, we didn't, like, when me and you were talking, we didn't, like, a lot of people don't know the complete origination of Spark. And
you don't ask me.
Because I don't remember.
Drama,
But even like, well, it wasn't even when it was with Casey. It was, we didn't have a project yet. I just approached him saying, I want to work on something with you. So it wasn't like we had this project and I chose him out of that. It was just like, hey Casey, let's hop on a Zoom call. You're a notable DP around here. I want to figure out a way to...
I don't know what that sentence means. You know what I mean? Like, it's I do not...
Well, the amount of sets that I had seen that you had been on, the amount of actor friends that I had that had worked with you.
That's the illusion, man. That's the illusion of social media. It's like,
I know.
People are like, dude, you've been working really hard. It's like, I mean, I have, yes, but it's like not being paid for everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I'm just grinding. So,
but then I got to see like the stills from some of your previous films, and that versus what I've seen from other projects that I've been on, I was already like, okay, I know this guy knows what he's doing. I know this guy has some skill behind it. It's not just gonna be some amateur bullshit short film. There's gonna be some thought, some production, some creativity behind it. And then even when I would talk to some of them, like, oh yeah, this guy Casey that was on your set, and he's like, oh my god, I love Casey so much. I'm like, I have to meet this guy. And so it was like that original approach of like, I don't know what I want to do with you. I just know I want to do something with you. I think it took us like a couple weeks. We had like 12 different ideas of all these different things until, and the first the original idea for Spark was completely different than what we actually ended up going with. Because it was that first meeting, we were wanting to do something with VR, something with like, I don't know, something
dating,
around there. We're like, oh, what if we do this? So it's like, okay, cool. And then we had the first writer which, I mean, the first script wasn't bad. It just didn't have the arcs that we needed. It didn't have the chemistry between the characters.
Yeah, well, I think it's hard because there's so much substance, and I think like the goal was to kind of produce like a 5-minute short type of deal. But some of it's like there's just so much story, and it's really hard to do that effectively in a 5-minute short. Like most 5-minute shorts is like it's one scene, you know, like where we were like, okay, we're gonna have this whole arc and show the before, middle, end. So yeah, I think like that's just kind of the process of working through the script and realizing, okay, it needs to be something a little bit bigger than, which is just the nature of like being creative and like working on a script, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be really simple, and then it just keeps like getting bigger and more exciting, and you keep wanting to add on to it. So
I just like the fact that it never deterred us from doing it. Like, oh, VR, how are we gonna incorporate VR into what we're doing? How are we gonna do this? It was just like, we'll figure it out when we get there. Let's just run with it. Let's get a script. Like, let's not worry about that stuff that we may or may not be able to do later, and let's try to get the basics. Let's see what we can get.
Yeah.
Do we have a script? No. Okay, cool. Well, let's get a script together. Let's see what we can get going. Wait, what?
Nothing.
My roommate's car.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to talk over.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
What's an AMG? That makes sense.
Yeah, all that audio is scrapped. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just walking around.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
He wants to be in a podcast.
Yeah, one of these days. Yeah. So what's it like living? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I hate it.
Yeah.
How's it like having Kayla as a roommate?
Yeah.
What are we allowed to say?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
Cool person.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
I just remember like when I had my roommate, is like I was like never home. I'd come home like random hours of the day. It's like you know, what are you doing?
Oh, that's where I've been. I've had nothing but roommates since like getting 18 and being out of the house and stuff. I've had nothing but roommates. And at first, I loved it. I was like, I get to have someone in the house. And like especially like I lived with my best friend 1 or 2 times, which I didn't realize is the worst decision you could ever do until after, because I was like, oh yeah, no, we're not friends anymore either. So I was like, at first, like the idea sounded cool. It's like, dude, this is like the longest sleepover ever.
Yeah,
we're
gonna party every night.
We can do whatever the fuck we want. It's gonna be so much fun. Video games every night. We're gonna man cave this living room. We're gonna do this.
And like, did you eat my leftovers? Like,
and then a weekend, like, we're like, don't even see each other.
Why are you using my shampoo? You know, it's like super.
Fuck you. Yeah. Did you take all the butter without replacing it? God damn it.
Are you gonna clean up after yourself, or do I have to? You know,
wait, so we don't have someone to wash these dishes?
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I mean, now it's a completely different thing. I envy people that live on their own so much. Like the thought of living alone scared me so much until I had one roommate that he was gone for like 2 months, and at first I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, there's not gonna be someone here.
Yeah, living alone.
3 days into it, I'm like, this is the most amazing. I get to go home whenever I want without having to worry about someone. Hey, are you gonna clean this pan that's in the dishwasher or something? Or are you gonna do this? Or like getting nagged 24/7. I was like, this is amazing. He came back and I was like, when are you leaving again?
Yeah.
My roommate's awesome. Like, he's literally never around. Like, he's here all the time, but he's never around.
Yeah,
that makes any sense.
just like tucks away into their room or something. It's like, there you go.
Going back to film. But yeah, when we were first doing it, we were getting the script, and I mean, like I said, there wasn't anything wrong with that first script. It just didn't have all the substance that we wanted, which is when and I wasn't even anticipating Adriana to be more than an actor. I literally only approached her to be an actor in it because I was like, we've known each other for a while.
Right.
I feel like our on-screen chemistry can be really, really good. Let's do this. And that's when she offered to rewrite it stuff, and I was like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, I think I remember like being on that Zoom call, and she was like, I have some notes, maybe some thoughts or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she like rewrote it and like added a bunch of stuff to it, and like I was like, okay, this is getting somewhere. Like it makes me excited, you know.
Yeah.
So
well, for me, it was almost supposed to be like a throwaway project for that first one. Like, not a throwaway thing, but like, okay, well, this is gonna get me my first producer credit. This is gonna be the first thing that like I'm in charge of, type of thing. But the next one's gonna be the cool one. The one after this is gonna be awesome. But then
It's a terrible way to think.
I know. I know. It is.
Actors,
Oh yeah.
Well, I had never done anything really other than be in front of the camera.
This is gonna suck, but I'll do
Yeah.
better next time.
It'll be good for my reel, but yeah.
No.
But it was also just because we didn't have the best storyline put together. We didn't have arcs. We didn't have the chemistry. We didn't have like all that kind of stuff. And I'm not a screenwriter. I've never written a script. I've never written chemistry between two people before. So I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. We already had one guy that tried to write it. I don't know how we're gonna make this become like a reality and stuff.
I didn't realize you guys had such a problem because I got the script like the day before we shot.
Which is insane.
Yeah, I know. I'm directing it and I'm like reading it as I'm driving to set. That's how, like little amount of time I had. And it was great. I loved it. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Like just what I saw was amazing. I think it's a great story.
Oh no, it turned out to be, but like, 'cause I don't think, I still don't think you've seen like the original script that was written.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, no, it's some like, and I feel bad that like, I was gonna try, like, I don't know how like all the credit stuff works because I was gonna talk to her about that, but literally there's not a single thing that is from the previous script. Every single line, every single thing is completely different. It's the same story,
same theme, right? Yeah,
but
that's important.
The credits changed for the writer.
Yeah, which I mean, I feel
that
like,
happens.
yeah,
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like you're essentially producing it, right? Like you and Adriana are kind of like producers, and then, but I think like and this may be some advice to like, because I've met a lot of actors that want to get their face out there. They want to start creating projects for themselves. If they're not getting work, it's like then go out and create your own work. And it's like that's great, but I do think like you need to bring in a director. Like you have to have a script, and you bring in a director, and like there's different processes that are kind of like the order of things. And some people I think go straight for like bringing me on as a DP is like I'm all for it, but like really you got to have a director before you have a DP, before you have a gaffer, before you have like art.
That's what was so weird about it.
Yeah,
that was what was weird, but I mean it was my first time directing.
Yeah, so it's like we're all just and again it's low risk. Like we're all there to have fun. We're there to create a great product or whatever. But
director first.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know the order of operations for all this. For me, I'm just thinking in my head like, okay, well, we need a story, then we need someone to shoot the story, and then we need like, okay, well, let's get all this. And it was more of a thing like I said, I just wanted to figure out a way to work with you. If there was another project, cool, I would have been happy to do that. I just wanted to figure out a way to be in front of your camera and have you operating that camera type of thing. And I also feel like it kind of shows that you don't always have to have a very strict type of regimen on making a film happen. It doesn't 100% every single time have to be like this, because I feel like when it's like that deters a lot of people from actually creating a story. They're like, I have this, but I don't have this type of stuff.
I could go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just to say, like, I could see where like some things can come up and it's like a roadblock, and then your movie never gets made. So you just kind of make progress where you can. But yeah, I do feel like there are some things that like just logically kind of like make sense and are kind of like checklists. Again, like having the script first. Before, like I've been a part of things where it's like they don't have a script, but they want to like work with somebody. And it's like I'm the type of person where like I'm down for whatever, but I'm not a writer. I have no interest in being a writer. So it's like whenever you got a movie, and it's like you could ask my opinion, but again, it's your movie. Like I will do whatever you want. I can give some creative stuff if I really think there's an issue or a flaw, but if that's what you want to produce, I'm all for it. Like, so it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of different. You might run into some people that are way more opinionated, but I don't know. So
I'm the same way, but like since I'm kind of moving towards the director area now, which that's not gonna be forever, everybody. I'm gonna but, I'm just like naturally flowing that direction. I want to be a part of it from the beginning because like it was my first time and it was a really fun script. I'm really grateful for it. But like the next one that we're doing, which is gonna be super exciting. I'm so excited about it. I like want creative control over like half the story, because if it goes like a different way, I'm gonna change it on set if I don't have say over it.
Totally.
And that's like gonna be a little confusing. Right. So that's where like getting the director first and then the DP, because it's like you pick the DP for me, I think, and that's fine. But like I'll work with people and it's gonna be fun. But usually I'd want to pick the DP and the whole team, and
Well, I think that's where the learning curve kind of comes in.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've only ever been in front of the camera. I've done behind the camera, but not for any type of film stuff like this. It was always for social media stuff or for very minor things. I'd never been in that producer type of thing, and I didn't go to film school or anything. Everything that I've learned has been run and gun type of stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to overcomplicate it. I want to tell a story, and I believe that there's a way. I know that if I get the right people, they're not going to care too much about sticking by the rules of the game type of thing.
Yeah, that's true. We have a good group.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You know, it's like no one's gonna like knock you, but I'm just trying to I'm trying to figure out even like your experience of like working with producers versus directors and like as a cam op or a DP. Like who's your boss? You know what I mean? Like well, who gets the final say?
Most of the time, like the producers are the directors.
Yeah.
On the stuff that I've done, but like technically the producers are the boss. Because like if they just walk in and they're like, I don't like this, then the director has to stop. You know, because they're the ones paying the director.
Right.
Yeah, but in the scheme of things, the producers aren't really caring. They're like way over here in the office.
Yeah.
And so then the director's the boss. But I'm kind of I like to fight people sometimes. Like that's just my thing. So I'll literally like pull the director aside and be like, look, like we need to do it this way, or else it's not gonna look good. Or like you're saying words to me, but you don't. It's my job to make it happen.
Right, or like, make it the best product possible.
Yeah. So like. I'm the boss.
And what you're asking for makes no sense. You know, like
or like what you see me doing is what you're saying, but you just don't understand how it works.
Right, how we're gonna get there. But trust me, you know, you have to have that level of trust, and
which I think kind of worked out really well with you guys. The fact that even though that you're the director, you have the experience that he has as well. So it's not.
That was actually really fun.
Yeah. So it's not just like you're over here putting really harsh expectations on Casey. You're over here like, I know what's possible. I know that this is possible. I'm not even going to try to mention this because although it might look cool, it's not possible. Thing versus like.
Or I asked if it was possible.
Yeah. You already kind of start leveraging in your own like experience and like this is how I could see it working. You know, does that work with you? Yeah, we would check in.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
What has your experience been with producers versus directors?
So again, it's very similar. Like a lot of times the producer is the director, or it's like writer, director, producer, like all the hats. There's only been like a few instances where it has been like a outside producer who like brings on a director, and I don't have any interest in directing. I just want to like DP. So it was kind of like one of those things where I was like trying to play both sides and trying to like, it's very political, like behind the scenes and all of that. But it's like technically they are funding the movie, like they're paying for the location and the food and any like rentals and props and stuff. But as a director, I feel like they definitely should have some creative control in the story and the narrative and how they want to do like characters. But the producer sometimes might just step in there and be like, oh, that's not what I wanted to do or not how I saw it going. So it's like, and I was just kind of trying to, play both sides a little bit and just figuring out like, okay, who is the right in this situation. But yeah, so I don't run into it a lot, but it is kind of interesting. And so, yeah, I just wasn't sure, like, on a set, like, I mean, Spark is an example because we all worked on that, but like you and Adriana were kind of the producers,
right? And
then Kayla's the director. I was the DP, and I didn't feel like there was any unalignment or whatever, but I just wasn't sure, like, and of course Kayla kind of got brought in like last minute, but so it's like you didn't get a lot of like creative prep or time to really process or mull it over. Again, I think the script was great and it was a lot of fun, but I just wasn't sure like what you would have liked to do differently, or like how to prepare somebody, like if somebody's watching this and they're like, I want to make a story, what's the best way to kind of go about it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just like how to kept checking in with you guys because it was your guys' story, and I was like, because I only had like half a day to really prep for it, I just had to keep like checking in with you, like, is this like what you wanted, or
right?
How crazy can I get right now, And luckily you guys were like super chill, everyone was super chill, so we got to play around. But
that was the thing, is we never wanted to ever limit creativity on this. We were always in the frame of mind of, if you think like we trust you. We're bringing you on as director. We're bringing you on as DP. If we brought you guys on for a reason, which means that we trust your vision. We trust that you're gonna make the story look good. So whatever you think, like I'm not here to be a Nazi on the set and say it has to be exactly like
I
this.
didn't get that from you guys. Just like because I didn't know the vibe, I just keep checking. Like, is this what you wanted?
Yeah.
You know? Like, most of the time, like if I was like brought in way beforehand, like this next one, I'm gonna be like, no, like this is how I want it. You know?
And that's, I mean, I like that kind of stuff, but I also just like making sure that there's always open creativity because you never know where a good idea is going to come from. You never know if it's going to be the sound guy that's like, hey, what if he says this line instead of him? It's like, let's try it.
I'm still like not okay with that though. Like,
Really?
Like, it depends. Just because I work on like much more professional film sets, like where like a sound guy was telling me what to do, I was like, go sit over there in your sound mix cart and don't talk to me again. In a nice way. Like it just depends because I just produced my Western and like we're killing ourselves to get these shots.
Yeah.
You know, and like we had a really open crew too, and like you have the ability to come up to me and say that. But there's moments where I was like, if someone did that to me, I'd be like, shove their face in a corner, like, here you go.
Well, and I think the thing is like you have to be okay, like even if it's like a sound guy or whatever, of like giving an idea and me just saying no, like you know, like and it's not to hurt your feelings or belittle your idea or whatever, but like there's been times like that where it's like it is a high stress environment. You have to move to make your day. Like we are go 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 go, and this one comes like, hey, have you thought about? It's like zip it, and you know, it's like in the nicest way possible. But you have to, and I think that's the thing is like. You have to be okay, like even me, like there was a time where I was a first AC on something and I might have like gone and it's like, it's okay if my idea gets shut down. Like you can't take it personally, but you just have to understand like they know things and are in conversations that you are not, and there's things that you have already been discussed. But yeah, I think there's like, it's just funny you said the sound guy, because I think that literally happened on a set and I was like, stick to your lane, like jokingly, but kind of not, where I was like, great idea, but we're not doing that. You know, like
too many cooks in the kitchen right now. I cannot listen to you.
I feel like it's definitely gauging the environment, because obviously if the high stress situation you're running gun, then it's probably not the best idea unless you see something that's like detrimental, like please do this instead type of thing. But I think of there was Bryan Cranston. He was on Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you guys heard or saw this whole thing, but there was a skit where he's playing a dentist. And the patient was in the chair and he was about to go under, and he's like, well, the anesthesiologist hands him the thing, and then right before they were shooting, there was like a lighting guy or something like that. It was like, it'll be funny if you took a hit of it before you gave it to him. And he was like, okay. And it turned out to be one of the most iconic moments in Saturday Night Live. Like the moment when he takes the hit and he's like, all right, now it's time to go under. And then he's like getting like high himself, but like that was an idea from.
That's so rare though.
Right.
But it's like if they were completely like against ideas from anybody except for their director and stuff, like a moment like that couldn't have happened.
Yes, but I'm sure like 100% of the time it's not available to do that. And that was just like a one-offer.
I don't know. I like to stay optimistic, because I'm like I
there's got to be some sort of structure, because if you allowed that all the time, there would just be like chaos.
Yeah, I think it's like, again, it's one of those things where it's like, let the best idea win. If it's like, hey, that's actually a really good idea, let's do it. But if we have the time for it, like we're not doing a whole new setup to get him doing a hit of it. Like that would be silly. But like, but yeah, I think it's one of those things where you can be on the day, you could say like, it's actually a really good idea, or no, that's not right now. You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of just have to figure it out.
Like I said, it'd be like, I think it'd be more appropriate if it's like everyone's at lunch and they're just kind of enjoying themselves. Like, hey, I was just thinking, like, just for shits and giggles, like, what if this? Like, obviously no high stress. You guys are just kind of chatting or whatever. Obviously, if we're in the middle of the take and super high stress, like, keep your mouth shut. Let them do what they need to do. Unless it's like a very, like, this could be an Oscar-winning moment type of thing if we do that. I don't know. I'm just.
It just takes a lot of social awareness and like social intelligence to know, like, okay, now I make my movie. Like, you know, like, yeah.
I'm just
like once in a lifetime kind of
yeah,
moment. Like, 'cause
yeah.
even at lunch, I would be like, stop talking to me about this.
I'm just, I
You know
guess,
what I mean?
I'm the opportunist. I
As
always
a
think,
producer, I'd be like, gotta go.
I'm on my lunch.
I always like to have the optimism of having that possibility of like, you never know where
yeah.
the golden
yeah,
idea is going to come from.
I live like that too, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, I guess
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
for you guys, I definitely get it, but it's like if I'm an actor and someone like I do have someone like I'm 100% open to anybody tell me an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the way that I know that you guys are probably different with how high stakes can be.
Again, I think it all just depends.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
depends.
So I was just checking if
Yeah.
it's still rolling.
Red light is on. So.
What's been the biggest project you've done so far?
Ooh, probably the biggest scale was Tomorrow Undead. It was just the biggest budget thing that we've done so far. Dale and I like kind of produced that one together. He wrote it, directed it. I was the DP. We both kind of like co-produced, but we had like 40 people on set. It was 5 days. So again, it just seemed bigger than like 3 people, 3 actors. Like it just felt big. And it was just like the biggest price point. You know, I think we spend like 10 grand so far on it, and then we still got to like do the festival run and like send it to like post. So we have somebody like doing our sound and color and VFX stuff. So it's like it still got a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably one of the biggest. The other one, I guess it just like clicked in my head, but the Dead thing was a feature that I worked on. I was the first AC on that one, and that one was like $200,000 budget in LA. Mm-hmm. But that one I just was like such a fly on the wall. Like, I mean, I was pulling focus and stuff, but it was just totally different. So that was probably, I would say, the biggest thing I've been a part of. Okay. But to me, Tomorrow Undead feels like, okay, this is like, it's like our little like baby that we're nurturing and putting out in the world. So
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
that's like my favorite thing.
Yeah. So because you guys both worked on that one, right? Mm-mm. Oh no, it was just you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh no, it was Adriana that was on it, right?
She played one of the actresses.
Yeah. Okay. Because I remember she was talking about that. From what you saw with the production of Spark, which was like her first directing, my first producing, Adriana's first producing, like in comparison, I guess, since you were there from the beginning of the Tomorrow Undead film, how would you like? What would you have taken from that could have possibly helped us with Spark or the way that was?
It's a good question.
Just especially from like experienced people, like you guys all have experience in what you guys are doing, much bigger budgets and stuff. I'm kind of just curious, especially like the set start to finish kind of thing, even for like a short film.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's hard because like Dale as a director writer, like he has a vision and like he knows exactly what he wants. He's very good at like kind of showing ideas and like and on all of that. And I think the problem was like you brought Kayla on too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that was like the only thing, and we kind of already talked about this. But I think it would have helped everything kind of go a little smoother maybe. But I don't know, like our day was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Like we got everything we needed. I think, you know, the hardest thing was like doing that day exterior thing when like the sun is moving, there's planes going by, like you know, like that was a nightmare. But we got through it. Where, you know, Tomorrow Undead was a little bit more like we were on like one location for 2 days, and then we had a couple like pickup days here and there, you know, up north or whatever. So, but there was just so much more like pre-production to Tomorrow Undead of like getting the zombie casted and the VFX for that, wardrobe, location scouts. So where Spark, it's like, hey, we're gonna do this in a couple weekends, and that's okay. Like it got made, you know, like so I think that's the biggest kind of like applause is like you made a film, you know. It's like, it's really hard. A lot of things don't get past that point. So
that's true.
That was one of the things like I was proud that we did, is even from the lack of experience of a couple of us, what we were able to accomplish, though, the fact that we didn't let stakes deter us from getting anything done. It was we figured out locations. Like, okay, well, we need a movie theater. Okay, and then it's like everyone came together for their connections. It might not have been the most by the book type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's also my favorite part about it. It was how off book it was. Like it felt so much more like making everything else realistic and possible. Like we can get this done. We've done this before. It might not be the traditional route, but it's possible.
Right? Yeah. Well, and I think too, like the other thing that I was just thinking about is like some of those days for Spark was like very skeleton crew, you know, like very, very minimal. And I think like sometimes I almost like that better.
Yeah.
Because on Tomorrow Undead, we had like 2 cam ops, 2 first ACs, a second AC, and like I was just by the monitor the whole time.
Yeah,
like so, it's like
I don't like that.
Guys, I'm way back here, but get BTS of me, you know, like it's like they look cool with the cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think like, so that was like the only like weird thing about working on that is like I know I have a very big important like job and role, and I'm department head and all this stuff, but I was like I felt like I was so far away from like the action. Where Spark was like, I get to be behind the camera, and I, that's what I love to do. So
that's why I say to people, I want to be a camera operator, not a DP.
Yeah.
Which they're always so shocked by that. And I'm like, when you get on the big projects, the DP does not touch a camera.
Correct.
They never touch the camera.
Correct.
They're the back,
Wait, really?
just like you just said. Yeah, DPs do not touch the camera.
So what does the DP do on like a big set then?
They're by the monitor. They work
tell
with the
them what to
gaffer and the key grip. Like
Really?
that's the whole kind of like you have your director. And again, everyone has their own kind of style and way they like to work and how they work with the team. But like the DP is like in charge of the crew.
Yeah.
So like they're working with the camera operators, and usually it's like, I've given you your marching orders. Then they go to the gaffer and the G&E team is like, okay, here's how we're going to light the space. And this is the vibe and the mood and the feel.
Yeah.
And then they're working with the art department on like, this is the set deck and the little colors that we're going to, and like, so as a DP, you have to be involved in all of it, but you don't necessarily get to do like the fun stuff of like being on the crane. Yeah.
So I worked on House of Dragons for 2 days.
No freaking way. What? That's my dream. I don't know how vulgar I can get, but
you can fucking say anything.
And I didn't get paid for it. I had to pay myself to go out there and whatever.
Worth it.
All day.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see how it worked, you know, and to see where the DP was compared to the cam ops and stuff. And the A camera operator does what we do as DPs. He was telling everyone like, no, this camera goes here. This is what you're gonna do. And I was like, yes. So like the A cam operator is who I want to be.
There you go.
Yeah, because we think like everyone thinks like, oh, a DP does what they think the A cam operator.
Right.
So whenever anybody asks me, I'm like, I'm a camera operator. Like, I'm not a DP.
Yeah.
They get weirded out, but I'm like, no, if I'm going to the big leagues, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be behind a screen telling a bunch of people what to do. I'm gonna be the one handheld in the fight scene, like following people around.
I love that.
You know?
Yeah. 100%.
It was a great time.
Was there any positions that we should have had but didn't on Spark?
I mean,
go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I just didn't have any time to even like catch up.
Yeah.
So I have nothing to say.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I mean, we had every position filled for the most part. I think I would have loved more G&E people, but like we weren't doing anything super crazy, and they knocked it out of the park. But it's like, or PAs or whatever. But that's like the hardest thing is like, you know, having somebody come out to your set like for free, and it's like, hey, you're gonna PA, and I just really need you to go pick up lunch when it's time. You know, it's like really hard to like. Yeah. I struggle with that of like making sure it's worth it for like everybody on set, but sometimes like I just don't have anything for you to do. Yeah. You know, so it's like I don't know.
I did feel bad for that one PA that kept asking. He kept asking.
Yeah.
What to do. I'm like, I'm not the person to ask.
Yeah.
Like ask everyone else.
Yeah.
I felt so bad.
Yeah. Kept asking if I wanted water. It's like, I'm good. I got water. You know, it's like, and it's like, it's so hard because they're trying their best and they want to be helpful and involved. And yeah.
On bigger sets though, like for me, it's like loyalty. Like if you guys do come out to my shorts, then when I get a paid job, then I'll remember you.
Well, that's what I feel like the shorts and stuff out here are for. It's to learn who can do what, who can be loyal. Not even just loyalty,
for me, it's loyalty.
But like just who has the ability for certain stuff. Okay, well, you've proven on this short that you're really good at camera operating. So when there is that huge opportunity that comes out here, like we know for a fact that who can do this kind of thing. Like, oh, we need this specific camera movement. Who knows how to do that? Or who knows how to do this effect? Or who knows how to do this?
Yeah.
So
Well, it's funny because like, you know, the first time I worked with Kayla, like I was the gaffer, and then I just started getting like pigeonholed into like a lot of gaffing jobs
Yeah.
because that's what people kind of just automatically assume. So it's kind of one of those things where I had to like start being more outspoken. Like, if there's opportunities to be a DP, like that's what I want to do. And so you just kind of have to like, you know, kind of be upfront and vocal about it. Because I've worked with like PAs and stuff, and it's like, oh, so you actually want to do art, you know, like, and it's like I didn't know that, or like so.
Well, that's where you just have to learn how to be outspoken yourself. And like when you're on set, it's purely like you have to take advantage of the networking as much as possible, as much as like that's appropriate and stuff. Like if you're there and you're just quiet the whole day as a PA, nobody's going to understand that you want to be a sound guy or that you want to be a DP or that you want to do this unless like you see that he's maybe not doing anything. Like, hey, like, can you teach me a little bit? Obviously, I don't know how you guys are with all that, but like as someone that if I wanted to be like a director or a DP or something and I was just a PA, I would just be like, hey, I'm at your beck and call today. Let me know what you want me to do. I'm here for that. And then if you could just shoot me some tips here and there, like whenever you're doing it, let me know.
Yeah,
I'm here to learn, kind of just doing that kind of thing. And that way he knows like, hey, actually, come here. I want to show you something real quick. And like
that's how I learned everything.
Yeah.
I would just go like, there's a limit to when you should talk to people. Like literally every time I would just follow them around. Just, like not like right next to them, but just like so I could listen to what they were saying and see what they were doing, and then they would like catch on to me being there and watching them, and then if they needed anything they would call me instead of their ACs. And so like there's one shoot that their ACs came up to me and they're like, they literally never let anyone touch their shit. Besides, like, you're doing it right now. You're a PA and you're touching his shit. Like, who are you? And I was like, I was just standing here. I don't know.
Well, when I feel like when you gain trust, but you also are of service to people, they have that internal thing of like, you know what, they're helping me out. Like, I'll help them out a little bit. Like, they're like, they don't have to be doing all this. There's 20 other PAs that are literally just standing over by the crafting, waiting to be told. He's the only one that decided to take the liberty of being over here and just like he's just sitting quietly right behind me waiting for me to give him instruction type of thing.
That's who you should be as a PA. Because like I just PA'd for the first time in 8 years the other day because my friend needed a last minute like position filled, and I was like, whatever, I'll get paid for it. It's an easy day for me. Like, what?
Love that.
And I just remembered like how much I loved following the first ADs around, and so I just like went up to the first AD and I was like, I'm your girl today, and he was like, thank God. You know?
Right.
I just stood next to him the whole time, and like whenever he needed somebody, he was like, you do this, and so I was busy all day because I was with the right person. Everyone else was just sitting outside.
It's so funny because like I feel like when I am working with new people or whatever, like for instance, if I was gaffing something, I had like a team of grips or whatever. It's like when I need something and I'm scanning the room, it's like somebody is like just making eye contact. He's like, okay, you like you're with like, come on, let's go get this thing. And so like those are the people that I keep bringing to my sets because it's like you're a go-getter, you're attentive, you're there, like you're ready to do whatever. And so it's like those are the people that it's just like, okay, I know that you're paying attention and you're ready to work.
That's literally what happened on Unstoppable. We've mentioned it a couple times on here, but do you know the movie Unstoppable that just came out?
Actually, I went to school with his brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Nick Robles. Like we like went to the same year in college and we like hung out. Like
that's dope.
Yeah. So
but yeah,
I know the story. I'm a little familiar with the story. So it was like when I saw that you guys like were on it, I was like, what a small world. Like it's so cool.
I know. They're
only out here for 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just were out here for establishing shots.
Okay, cool.
But it was like I remember my agent, she texted me and was like, hey, do you want to be in a new JLo movie? And I'm like, yeah, fucking course I do. Are you fucking kidding me? I get there. I've never seen so many extras on a set in my life.
Like 400 or something.
There were like I got there early, and there was the line for extras to check in was down the thing. Then like even like the smaller players, they had like their own trailers and stuff. We were all just kind of sitting in the cold, just waiting to check in and just kind of hanging out and stuff. And like, yeah, I'd like to network, I'd like to talk. So I was just talking to a few of them, and obviously like no one's been in notable huge things or whatever, but it's still fun to talk. But like as soon as like we were on set, I was like, okay, who do I need to be kind of scouting down a little bit, kind of talking to, which is where I met Raw, because
Yeah,
she was the PA that was like standing behind me, and I'm like, well, I could talk to this other kid who doesn't really seem to really care too much about what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't care about his acting career, is
Yeah.
kind of just doing this because whatever.
Sure.
Or I could turn around and talk to this other girl that seems like she's having some fun. So I
Yeah.
turned around, me and Ross started talking a little bit.
Best person to talk to.
Oh, she was
That's
absolutely
awesome.
amazing. But then it was super funny because we saw the main guy, Jarrell Jerome. He was sitting over by the fountain or whatever. He's wearing the green sock, and green sock he's supposed to be legless, and so I remember I accidentally ran into him one time. We were passing by to go to the bathroom or something. I'm like, hey, is the bathroom this way or whatever? And I'm like, I didn't realize I just ran into the star. Okay, shoot.
Yeah,
but then I talked to him in the bathroom a little bit, but then it was like after lunch or something, we were filming one scene. I can't even remember where it was, but all of us extras were just crowding around the directors and just kind of like waiting, whatever. A couple of the girls were just like talking to each other. Everyone's kind of in their own little cliques. And I'm like, I'm just gonna like shimmy through all of you guys, get to the very front and stuff. Like everyone's in their own little world. The DP is, I overhear the DP like, okay, we have this shot that is happening, or whoever he was, DP, I don't know who he was, but he was just like talking, and like I overheard them saying like, okay, we're gonna need one of these guys for this shot. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So I hear them preparing for it, and I'm like, I know exactly what I gotta do. So I get to the front of it and stuff, and he's like, okay, let's get them, and I'm like following him with my eyes. I'm like, hey, and then finally me and him lock eyes. He's like, you come here. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then
everyone else was not paying attention.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
exactly.
I'm here for a reason. I want to make the most out of this.
Yeah.
What can I do? And so, and then like I ended up being like the go-to guy for the rest of the day. They're like,
they kept. I told you this.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't hear it all the time, but they're like, "Where's that one guy? Where's that one guy?"
Yeah, but it was literally like that whole thing of like, I'm gonna lock eye contact with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, but that's literally like. You never know where that could lead. I ended up getting a close-up. They didn't put it in the movie, but there was like an instance where I'm sitting there with the newspaper, and I get the close-up watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
This is cool.
And those kind of instances, it's like, if they have an extra line, if they have something that happens, I could have just earned my SAG card.
Yeah.
I could have just became SAG eligible.
Yeah, they gave you a line. Well, they gave you like an open line to
They
say.
gave me a line, but they didn't mic anything up.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like a, hey, well,
gotcha
type of thing.
Whatever.
But like if they would have mic'd
but
us
still,
up,
still,
I'm like, that one little thing, making eye contact, could have changed my entire career.
It literally.
Yeah.
It could have literally made it to where like, oh, you're SAG eligible. You had this line or something, or like he's gonna come up to you and you're gonna have a little conversation with him. Improv a little bit.
Yeah.
You're an actor. I believe in what you could do. Like, I don't know.
That's how important eye contact is.
Yeah.
Like not being there for fun. Like, yeah, it's fun. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
But like if you're especially an extra, you're just standing there like talking to your friends and stuff, they're gonna look over you. Like, you saw who you needed to talk to.
Yeah, you took the opportunity, paying attention.
Well, I feel kind of bouncing off of that a little bit. One of the things I've been noticing a lot, especially for the Arizona industry, and because the amount of extreme professionals that are out here, like we don't have a ton of like big time Hollywood person, yada yada yada. The amount of people that keep forgetting this is a business. This isn't a charity type of thing. This isn't a type of like, we're in this for a career. We're in this for a business. I've seen it too much. Like, obviously, yes, we help each other out by making projects, and we're in it for the art. We're in it to tell a story.
Yeah.
But this is still a business. There's still like, yes, we're going to be thinking about money. We're going to be thinking about marketing. We're going to be thinking about these other aspects. And it's starting to drive me crazy because there's too much, I feel like, of just like this charity thing of like, oh, we need to grow this industry out here. We need to do this, as if it's almost like a cause. Like, we need to cure this disease type of thing. It gives me that kind of essence.
That's like my whole life. So
yeah.
I'm on the board of the APA.
Yeah.
I'm a head community educator in Arizona Filmmakers. You're talking shit about me right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay though. It is a cause. It is a cause.
Well, it's a cause, but it's also just like a business. It's nothing different than if like the pharmaceutical company wanted to come out here and build the industry. Like, people, there would be a lot of people that would be like, oh, well, this drug can help a lot of people. It's a business though.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is, so this hasn't been approved to say yet, but I'm gonna do it anyway. One of our sound stages got approved, and we're going to break ground soon.
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna tell us in like the next month or so.
Oh shoot!
See, that's the thing. It's just like bringing work out here.
Yeah.
Is like the biggest thing. Like, you know, all this stuff is like in Atlanta or LA or Austin, New York. Like, it's like just bringing more jobs out here for local people.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's not that people don't want to make money, but
yeah,
it's just I don't know. I know it's like tax and all kinds of permits and approval, and I don't know anything about any of that, but but I do see like people that are trying, because I'm for sure like I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing. I want to make movies.
right.
I want to be on set, and I don't need to be rich and famous, but I want to make a living. And the thing is, like, I love being on set.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
14-hour days are fantastic. You know, like I just love the environment, and even when things are stressful, like, so it's like if I could do that every day or once a month, you know, like if I could book a couple of jobs to just stay steady, then like that would be the dream.
Yes.
So it's finding that, for me, it's that finding that next step of like, okay, I've done the short film stuff, I've done where we're having fun, but now it is, how do we profit off of this? How do we sell it to a distributor or a studio that wants to pick us up or whatever and wants to fund our film? And again, I'm not trying to make $1 million, but if I could pay everyone on our crew, like that would be huge.
Yeah.
Like that's what I care more about than anything else.
Well, I guess I'll kind of retract a little bit. It's not the fact of they forget it's a business. I feel like they just focus on the wrong part of the business. They're in it just to make shorts or something, or they're in it just to do this. And it's like, we're only making shorts so that we can show what we can do, so that we can have notable people that can understand what we could do with limited resources. We're doing, like, the goal isn't to be able to make as many shorts as you can doing this. The goal isn't to make the best type of, or not best, but like, the goal isn't the short film industry. The goal for us is bringing the big dogs out here, the big jobs out here, that kind of stuff. And but that takes the business end of stuff to do that.
Right.
And I feel like there's just too much focus on that small stuff of like, let's just do the shorts and let's just do this, small film festivals, like that kind of, like everyone's trying to build a career where there's no careers to be built, because nobody's focusing on like, okay, how do we take it from this small stuff, the short films, the tiny film festivals, no notoriety, the tiny stuff, to, okay, well, now we just created this, which is going to be turned into a feature film, which is picked up by Sony, which is picked up by one of these big things. How do we get the big festival out here that has those big directors coming out here, the big writers, the big producers coming to see what their next thing that they could buy the rights to?
Yeah.
Because right now, the film industry in Phoenix is not a new thing. It's been around for a while for Arizona. But the progress I feel like that we made, like it's been like a stock chart. It's gone up and then crashed down. It got up, and then crashed down. And then it just keeps having that cycle from what I've seen.
See, I don't even look at Arizona as like I'm building Arizona, which is weird for me to say. This next sentence is like, Arizona is like not my focus.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I want to make a short film to then make into a feature, I'm like, you're wasting all of your money. Like, just get because you should just build a pitch deck that's big enough to get an investor for your feature. Like, if you spend 10 grand on a short film, that will show the investor that you don't know what the fuck you're doing with your money.
Really?
Because they don't need to see an example of what you're gonna make. They want to know like who your team is, that you have 10 grand already, and what the plan is. Like, I think it's a huge waste of time to do a short film before a feature.
Because that's what we were planning to do with like Spark and stuff.
I know.
Which
you brought me on too late.
Well, my philosophy with that, because dealing with like business outside of film, is showing proof of concept, which that short is the proof of concept.
I don't feel like people do that anymore. I think that's an old form of thinking.
Well, because that's how like the movie Whiplash. It started.
When was that made?
Like 2015, 2016.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
I guess.
But that's the thing. Like, yeah, like maybe you get lucky and you have a short that's really mind blowing, and somebody wants to turn it into a feature.
Yeah.
There's a million shorts getting made.
Yeah.
Every week, it seems
Yeah.
like. And like my reason for doing shorts is just to get the reps in. Like, it's
Yeah.
good practice for me. But I agree, like what you should do, and I'm learning this too, is like the best course of action is to, you don't even have to have a full script prepared, but like have your synopsis, have your pitch deck, and then you just need to get one person that has a lot of money excited about it.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, cool. Like let's because big numbers to us seems like crazy, but to them like 50 grand is nothing, and they can swing that to like get you started, or pay for like an A-list actor or something, and now your movie like can really grow legs. So yeah, I'm like right there. Again, I've only been going at it for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But learning, okay, what is the best course of action to make money off of it, or at least to like get funding to have a $500,000 project. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's kind of like my next step, is doing more features, and not like, you know, people can do a feature, anyone can do a feature, but it's like, no, this is like a $500,000, $200,000 feature is like, I feel like the next thing for me that I'm trying to do.
That's for sure.
I guess
it's cool to watch your journey, because like in a way, like you're like a step behind me in this situation, because I just did my first $500,000 feature.
Right.
I just learned all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, like,
and I guess that's
it's kind of fun. Cause,
Give me all your lessons and mistakes, so I don't make them. You know, like you have to like stumble and figure it out and fail to succeed.
Where, like, the learning comes in, because like I said, I'm brand new to the producing world. I come from the business world, where I'm used to talking to those people, but not anything about film and stuff.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to speak the language.
Thinking like, okay, like when you're building a product, or like when you're selling any other thing, like for Shark Tank or something, you have to have a prototype, you have to have a proof of concept.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Something that you can show them, something that they can tangibly hold and be like, okay, no, I see the functionality behind this.
Yeah.
Maybe do a Kickstarter or something to show that people are interested in the product.
Kickstarter, even that is like, people do Kickstarters when they're wanting to raise 10 grand. It's like you get $1,000, and it's your mom. You know, like it's like, so it's hard though. It's really hard.
They want to see like what's the interest of the public for this, and so like when I look at that, I'm like, okay, well, you had X amount of people that said they were interested, or I don't know, creating that whole pitch deck. I guess what I learned when I took business classes and stuff, and so translating that to the business world, or translating that to the film world rather. It just, for me, it makes sense of like, okay, well, especially if I'm not a notable director or producer yet, like it's different if I'm already like, I've had this extensive resume of something that I can come to a big person in the film industry and be like, hey, or not even the, like, and someone with a lot of money, I could be like, hey, I've done like 12 movies already. Each one of them has grossed this much money. Like, can you come on? As someone who's brand new to the industry, my way of doing that is be like, hey, I did this short film with this amount of money to show, like, I can do this. Imagine what I could do with triple the amount of resources doing that. So that's why I imagine that, like, okay, well, we could do a short, and then
I see how you see that, because I've just been approached for like 10 years by people that like never actually, I shoot it for them and then they never get it done.
Yes.
I have so much footage out there that will never see the light of day, that I'll never get back.
Oh, I get that as an actor for sure. Yeah.
And it's like, just now it's like, you're such a waste of my time, like in the nicest way possible. Like, it's not gonna happen. And like, I don't mean to like crush their dreams, but then hopefully like me saying that gets them to actually do something about it. But for me, it's like, that doesn't mean shit to me anymore. Like, I have enough footage. I don't need your project to like boost me up. Like, I have an investor. Like,
well, that makes sense. Like,
totally. Well, and it's like, I'm not doing the student films anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm growing too, and like, it's like you said, like, we are on this journey, and it's like, how do you level up and move on to the next thing? But that's where I'm at. It's like, okay, I've done plenty of shorts that have never seen the light of day, that I don't know where they're at. And I'm doing it, again, people hate the word exposure, but that's kind of like, I'm trying to get my name out there so people do recognize me as somebody that is professional and working and can do it, can be trusted with $1 million project. So it's for me, it's getting those reps in. But I'm very interested to like know kind of how you approach like the Vast Lonesome, and like, you know, what was your process, or like what was your piece of that pie, because like to get somebody to like invest, and even like the feature that I worked on, the executive producer is like one of my best friends, and I knew that they were like getting investors, and it was a $5,000 minimum to like enter the pot, and they just like reached out to everyone they knew, and that's how they got their movie.
Yeah.
And you know, they had Blue Hunt was like the lead actress. So it's like they had like decent notable like people behind it. The director is like very well known in LA, big part of that community. So it's like, you know, you get some pull, but I don't know for me like what would be like my next step of how do I get on a feature, or how do I get something. And again, I'm not I'm not trying to direct, I'm not trying to write, I'm trying to work on something, you know, like so it's like, how do you like get those relationships or like kind of like find those people?
So that's a really hard question, because it was so random. So the writer, director, executive producer, and his brother, the DP, they have a really notable podcast. I forget what it's called, but it's about...
We're on the right track for that, at least.
No, hey guys, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah.
They got like $250,000 in donations from their fans.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, literally. That's how they started.
You guys have work to do.
They got like $250,000 in donations, and then I had worked with the brother, the DP, Luke, like 8 years ago once.
Wow.
One day.
Wow.
Yeah, on a documentary. And he called me and he was like, "Hey, can you jump on Zoom right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I jumped on Zoom, and they're like, "Hey, so we've been watching you for the past 8 years, like grow from this tiny little person into like being like one of the top people in Arizona. Can you help us make this?" And like they had made 2 movies prior, and it was just them and a sound guy.
That is crazy to me.
And they're like, "We have a shit ton more money this time. We need an actual crew. And like, we know that you work on projects that have actual crews. Like, can you help us crew it? Like, can you help us like figure out the structure of having a crew?" And so they brought me in as the 3rd producer. And
that's crazy.
It took us, I mean, I've been on it for 3 years now. We shot it October 2023. And then again, we had to make more money over an entire year.
Yeah.
And so how we got money for the second half was, this is a crazy story too. It just kind of just happens sometimes. But there's this lady who, I can't say a lot about her, but she just like sold all of her stocks in like a really very, very, very big company. And she's a multi-billionaire now.
Oh my gosh.
She moved to Arizona, and she wants to help people make movies now.
See, that's the thing. Like you find somebody that has just this wealth, who could say see you later to 10 grand, and it doesn't hurt them, doesn't bother them. But to us, it's like, holy shit, like that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So we have her in our back pocket. I'm not telling a lot of people, but I will tell you about her after we get off this.
Sure. I love that.
It's like the loyalty thing is a big deal.
Yeah.
So she literally she gave us the money because we wanted an A-list actor to be in the second half of our movie. And she paid his entire salary. It was like $400,000, and now she's an executive producer.
I want to be at that point as an actor.
Yeah. It's like, just drop a dime and I'm on set.
That's nothing compared to like what he wanted. Like he wanted like triple the amount. And
I'm sure.
Like, dude, like you can't. Like
help us out
especially
here.
for like the one day that you said that he was on.
He was on 3 days.
3 days.
3
Still,
days, $400,000. It was $100,000 a day.
If I could get that, like, holy shit.
I know. We had no way of actually getting it done without her, you know.
Right.
So she just came out of nowhere.
And that's just kind of like it. I hate to say it, but that's part of like the luck of the draw. Sometimes just right place, right time.
Yeah.
And I think but by doing what you're doing, of like they watched you on social media, they saw your growth, they saw what you're doing. That it's like, it is a lot of work and it is a little bit of luck, but like the more opportunities that it's like more pieces to the lottery. You know, I'm like getting more tickets by just doing more work and showcasing myself and like
you have no idea who's watching too.
Exactly.
I've even had people DM me sometimes like, "Did you know that this person is following you?" And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's scary, but like I've gotten so many jobs from people just like watching me grow.
Yeah, and it's like, who am I?
Yeah,
you know,
I know. Like, why do you care about me?
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about it, is because like for you, like I've been watching you, and you've grown so much in the last year and a half.
Little
like,
brother over here, baby bro.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you had way more experience and stuff in the industry than you had, based off of like the ethic and stuff that you portrayed on set, and just everything that I saw from you. I'm like, oh, this guy's probably been in it for at least like 5 or 10 years.
Well, and that's like I mean I have, but like not to this level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I know I know enough to like light something, shoot something, but it's been just me for a really long time. You know what I mean?
Though.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just funny. And again, I am trying to grow. Like I think it's a different thing. I always ask for feedback, like what can make me better? Like even if it's like my AC, we go out to dinner afterwards, like, all right, how did I do? What did you feel could have been better?
Yeah.
And I think that's like important. And I don't think that people do that enough. Like they don't care, you know, it's like, so that's my whole posture, is just like, how do I get better? How do I grow? Who do I need to surround myself with that's gonna like, you know, all ships rise, you know? So like, that's what I'm trying to do.
Just like not having your own sense of pride of certain things, like always being willing to learn, talk to anybody, because you never know who has what connection. Like even getting to know whoever the PA is on your thing. It's like, I'm doing this because my dad owns a production company. He wants me to get some experience.
Be nice to everybody.
Like, you never know who has what connection to what. Like
I remember I was like at some like it was like an auction thing, but like for charity or whatever, and I was sitting next to this dude who like has this you know, big company or whatever. And he was saying that like he knew people, and it was like their family or like parent died, and there was like these 4 siblings like inherited their will, and then they dropped like $400,000 to make this movie, and he was like, it was complete shit. Like it was like this terrible movie, and it was a nightmare. And like he was telling me about it because I was telling him that I was in the film industry and all of that. But like that's also like the thing that happens that we were kind of even talking about with like Disney Marvel stuff. It's like people drop so much money to like make these god awful movies. Yeah. And even if it's like an indie thing, it's like it's not that hard to make something good or something that's like of quality. You just got to find the right people that are going to like really champion your idea and make it good, you know, like
that's the problem with like people who don't care, is they just somehow market themselves better than us. And that's what I tell everyone, is like, just get the behind the scenes, post all the time. Like, yeah, you guys think it's like talking about myself too much or whatever, but we need to have good people out there to compete with these people that don't care. Yeah. You know, wouldn't you rather be on the movie and make it a better movie? Like
100%.
Well, it's all timing. Like if you post all this BTS stuff and there is just so happens to be someone scrolling through Instagram looking for a new DP or something, and they're like, oh, hey, like BTS, oh, this guy's a DP. Like, I wonder, they click into him. Oh, wow. Okay, he's got some cool stuff on there, even if it's just like a little BTS shot or something.
Yeah, and again, it's all just kind of you have to be marketing yourself, because like even like the AF3 thing that we just did, I won Best Cinematographer. Along with Angel Ruiz. Like we both kind of like shared the title. But that was like huge for me. Like just to be like recognized among my peers.
That's a big deal.
It was a big deal. I got like chills, and I was all shaken up there like with my like little certificate or whatever. But then like after that, I had like 4 people DM me and be like, "Hey, I want to work with you."
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. It's like it's those little things.
It's those little things that you just have to like grind it out, you know. And like, you know, I'm married, and I was telling my wife like I'm going to really pursue this, and she's been super supportive. But it's like weekends, it's long days, and so like we've definitely had to like navigate like priorities and different things. But like she's been a rock star and like letting me kind of pursue this.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
we
so
really need that.
Yeah. So it's like it's a little bit of both. Like I think if you're single, like go for it.
Oh
Balls to the wall. If you're not, if you're like me and you're like late to the game, like you have to, you know, kind of figure it out. But yeah, that's kind of just where I'm at, you know, just figuring it out. So
how do you? Because you also have.
What time is it?
Oh, that's right.
So I want to make sure that we're not.
We got 15 minutes or so.
Okay. Because you also have a kid on the way now too, right?
Yeah.
So balancing all that, because like you're still doing some free projects depending on
I'm starting to transition where it's like, okay, at least pay like my rental fee.
Right.
Like
okay.
I am bringing tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
Everything you brought on.
Yeah. So it's like all I ask for now is sometimes like a rent. Like there's still like the homies that will get the hookup.
Right.
But I have been asking for at least a rental fee or like a producer credit or my like, and that's small nickels for like, for doing some of this stuff. But it has led to, again, it's like you don't know who you're going to meet, where you're on one set and then you meet somebody on the next set and you meet somebody on the next set and then they like you and they want to work with you some more. And then you're getting like booked for 3 days, you're getting paid full rate to go shoot something. Like that's just kind of the natural progression of like hard work pays off. You just got to keep going.
Well, that's been my experience even as an actor, with like how people like, how did you like meet this person, or how did you get in this? I'm like, I literally, every time I'm on set, if I'm not trying to get my character, we're at lunch or something, I'm just talking to everybody that I can, because if you're talking to one person like, yeah, oh no, I'm actually doing a horror movie next, but we're still trying to find 1 or 2 people, it's like, where do I send my resume to?
Well, so actually funny, like the funniest thing actually that just like clicked is, so I worked with you on Slashed, was like the first thing, and then the next thing you did was Lights, I'm pretty sure, like right after that. And so I was following you, and then I saw Lights and I was like, holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like I literally was like, this is so freaking good. And then
you're feeding into her ego too much right now.
I'm not kidding.
Like didn't even know.
I'm not kidding. I was shocked by it. And then like 3 months later, I'm on a set as a DP, and Dale was doing BTS for that shoot, and he saw me ratchet strap myself to the back of a golf cart to get a running shot, and he was like, okay, I want to work with that guy. And that's how we started making these. We did some film challenges together. Now we're making Tomorrow Undead. So it's like, it's just kind of like, you never know, the little connection, the little spider web of stuff. So
and
like
manifesting it for yourself.
So, and again, it's like I met you, which again, I had no idea who you were on that set, and then here I am, like a nobody, first timer.
But we had so much fun together.
So it's just crazy. It's just really crazy. So
I would love to see you strapped to that thing to get that running shot.
I have a picture of myself strapped to a truck for my Western too.
Really?
You just gotta get the shot.
Whatever. It doesn't have to be OSHA approved or anything, but we'll make it happen.
We're not a union.
OSHA don't watch
You can come make us a union.
Once we have the budget, then we'll get like the cranes and stuff. But until then, we're ratchet strapping to the back of a truck.
Hey, it's safe. It's fine.
What kind of projects do you have coming up?
Ooh, that's a great question. So I'm doing one which I'm really excited about in a couple of weeks. It's called Beneath the Noise. It's a soccer-inspired film about a kid who's kind of like dealing with the anxiety of like perfection and being the best, and his dad is giving him a lot of pressure on like being a star soccer player, but also like maintaining relationships and friendships and school and whatnot. So that's kind of the next thing. And then the next thing after that is a feature, but it's still low budget. It's very run and gun. We're going to be shooting it like over the course of 3 months.
Okay.
Weekends only. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, I don't believe in 10-hour days or like 12-hour days. So it's going to be just a lot of just repetitive. I think like we're going to be at this location for a few weeks, few weekends. But I'm excited for that because and again, the director found me on Backstage.
Really?
No way?
Yeah, I just like, because I would always find talent on Backstage. So I was like, oh, I'll make a little crew profile. And I went and like uploaded some stuff. And he was like, hey, I saw your stuff. Like, one of my producers knows you, said that you'd be great. So it's like,
hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. And again, it's low budget, but it seems like fun and good people. So I'm like, I'm down.
You should, for sure.
Yeah, so those are the next biggest things. I do have some passion projects that are just, again, stuff for my reel or just stuff that like is speaking to me that I'm trying to get off the ground. But those are the only, and then kid on the way. So it's like, I'm going to have a girl in 3 months. So I'm trying to like get all this stuff done before my life completely changes. So yeah, I was telling Paige, be patient, but it's not going to be like this forever, but I'm really trying to like lock in. You know, like,
you're doing it right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because I'm like, I'm literally I want you to hire me.
Yeah.
Literally, like, when's Casey gonna
I'm
hire
still
me?
waiting for you to cast me too.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Well, let's make it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's do it. Yeah.
yeah. And anything you need, seriously,
Okay.
I'm there. So, yeah, I
Yay.
just love all of it. And so,
Well, Casey, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
taking the
guys so
time to
much.
come on here. This is honestly super fun. I knew the second I'm like, because we wanted to start this thing by having not only people in back of the camera but in front of the camera. We've
Yeah.
already had like another actor, but getting that like
Yeah, this is really
I
cool.
like to learn more about the behind the camera stuff, and
Mhm.
especially giving her someone to bond with a little bit
know.
more too.
Yeah.
Kind of helps with that, but. Your time, experience, energy, you shocked me with a lot of stuff today.
Thank you.
So it's been such a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I love it.
Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure gets said?
Man, no, I just really am honored and humbled that you guys would invite me on here. Again, like, I don't think of myself as anyone special, but I do appreciate all the work and all the fun, and I hope to keep working together. I think it's awesome. So.
Well, if anybody does have a project and they need an amazing DP, camera op, gaffer, anything like that, how can they find you?
Instagram, Casey Fehr is kind of my personal one, but I'm trying to grow FehrFilms. So you can find me on Instagram, FehrFilms. Follow me there, DM me. I'm down for pretty much anything. So
hell yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, love you, Casey.
Love you guys.
Appreciate
Thank you guys so much.
Awesome.
Yay.